evening all, your old pal Mark Cappis here with a Nerd News Headline Special Report. If you follow my YouTube channel, then you probably know that a couple of weeks ago I was playing around and I finally figured out how to do the whole sync up another video kind of thing so that way I can do trailer reactions when a hot new trailer that I'm looking forward to drops. Well, we've got our first hot new trailer coming later tonight, and so since I'm just sitting here waiting for it, I thought I would throw together a bit of an intro. That trailer, of course, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Everybody's favorite member of G.I. Joe is finally getting his own solo movie in a bit of a reboot of the G.I. Joe franchise. As we all know, we've had two G.I. Joe movies so far. That was 2009's G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra and 2013's G.I. Joe Retaliation. I saw them. I thought they were good, but not great. You know, they tried. It's kind of like what I've said before with superhero films. There's two kinds of superhero films, really. There's the ones that are done with love, care, and compassion for the source material, and the second kind are the ones where they put in that extra effort and go above and beyond and show some genuine care for the source material. The G.I. Joe movies we got so far have definitely been that first kind. Phoned in while the superhero thing is hot. Which is a shame because, you know, G.I. Joe has such a rich universe. When Larry Hama was creating the comic book back in the 1980s, he created so many characters, so many different rivalries between G.I. Joe and Cobra that you could easily put together some kind of G.I. Joe cinematic universe. Anyway, if you are going to watch one of the original G.I. Joe movies, you know, from 2009, 2013, I would probably recommend 2013's G.I. Joe Retaliation because it is more in tone and keeping with the original franchise. So there we go. That's a little backstory on G.I. Joe. I loved G.I. Joe growing up. You know, it was part of the holy trinity of the 80s, the decade in which I was raised. The holy trinity of the 80s, of course, being G.I. Joe, Transformers, and He-Man. Watched the cartoon every Saturday afternoon. I didn't have a lot of the toys, though. My brother was more into G.I. Joe than I was, so I'll never forget he had all the G.I. Joe aircraft, pretty much every G.I. Joe airplane and helicopter, and they were all dangling from our bedroom ceiling. He kept them up right into his teen years until his first girlfriend started teasing him for it. Then they were boxed up and put away in the garage, as all toys wind up. Anyways, so there's some of my personal reflections on G.I. Joe. So let me bring you up on the character of Snake Eyes, a ninja commando. Everybody loves Snake Eyes. He was famous throughout the entire franchise because you never saw his face. He always wore his mask, and he was completely silent, never said a word. In the original G.I. Joe comics, that was explained in that he was in Vietnam. Again, when G.I. Joe debuted in the early 80s, a lot of them were written off as being Vietnam vets who fought in Vietnam. Anyways, Snake Eyes was in a horrific helicopter accident, completely burning his face and severing his vocal cords, the cost of sacrificing himself to save its complicated relationship, Scarlet from G.I. Joe, and the result of those scars were why he never spoke and why he always wore the mask. And I think that's why Snake Eyes wound up being the most popular G.I. Joe as well, because, you know, it was the Spider-Man thing. Stan Lee said that one of the greatest things about Spider-Man's original design was that the artist Steve Ditko completely masked Spider-Man. That way anybody, no matter their race or gender, could imagine themselves under that mask and doing those heroics. I think Snake Eyes' popularity can be attributed to a similar degree, some of the similar factors, and of course the fact that, you know, he had the most badass backstory, ripe for getting his own movie. So anyways, Entertainment Weekly, they provided us with a first look at Snake Eyes earlier this week. In their first look, they tell us that the film Snake Eyes isn't going to be about the larger G.I. Joe Cobra conflict, but instead focus on the internal dealings of the Arashikage Ninja Clan. That's the ninja clan that trained Snake Eyes and his blood brother Storm Shadow. We also got ourselves a pretty good look at the cast they put together. Here are some of the pictures from that Entertainment Weekly first look. Henry Golding, who you might remember as the star of Crazy Rich Asians, he's the man himself, Snake Eyes. They tell us that we get to see Snake Eyes unmasked and speak. I know some fans are already upset about this deviation from the character, but hey, it's what you gotta do to make a movie. Samara Weaving, who you might remember from such fine films as Ready or Not and Bill and Ted Face the Music. She plays the G.I. Joe agent Shauna O'Hara, codenamed Scarlet. If you know the G.I. Joe franchise, then you know that Snake Eyes and Scarlet have always had an it's complicated kind of relationship. Andrew Koji from the HBO series Warrior, he plays Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow is Snake Eyes' best friend and the one who brings him into the Arashikage Ninja Clan. But when Snake Eyes starts being a better ninja than Storm Shadow, their friendship starts to sour and turn into a bitter rivalry. And rounding out the cast, we have Ursula Corbero, star of the Netflix hit Money Heist. She is the Baroness Anastasia de Cobre, better known as the Cobra agent, the Baroness. But I'm sure her trademark glasses in that photo kinda gave that away. So now that I brought you up to speed on everything you need to know about Snake Eyes, nothing to do but sit and wait for that trailer. You're just gonna see a fade out and fade in, but me, I'll be sitting here waiting for who knows how long. Welcome back. Just a brief fade out, fade in for you, but for me that was 2 whole hours of kicking back and wondering when that trailer was going to drop. The trailer is here now. I'm a little perplexed by the time code. The trailer is only 60 seconds long, just under a minute, so yeah. Suddenly my 7-minute rambling monologue about what G.I. Joe means to me seems a little excessive. Anyways, it is all queued up in the YouTubes here. I am ready to watch it. Instead of a countdown, let's do it military style. Synchronized time codes on my mark. Ready, mark. Right on. Great ninja action. I'm digging this so far. Nice.
Every warrior has a beginning.
For 600 years, our ninja have brought peace.
Digging it so far. A lot of neon, like the Hawkeye scenes in Endgame.
Yes, like you. Join us.
What do I have to do? The journey from here is yours to decide.
I know they said her name is Akiko, but I wonder if that's Jinx.
But that is just the
The
beginning.
mask. But that's it? That's all we're getting? Oh man, but I did like what we got because man oh man, we got some great ninja action. A lot of the fighting on top of cars there with the swords. I'm really digging that. Yeah, it's looking like a fun superhero comic book style movie, which is kind of what we want for a G.I. Joe movie. Anyways, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to download that clip so that way I can sync it up and add to the video, and then I'll probably come back with some final thoughts after I watched it a few more times and digested it. So I just watched it a couple more times, kind of fully digested it. It really strikes me as being, you know, Marvel light. They are kind of going for a Marvel movie. You know, as I said in my reaction, with a lot of that neon lit Tokyo, it really does look a lot like Hawkeye scenes at the beginning of Avengers Endgame. And along with that trailer, they also released a featurette called Snake Eyes, 5 Things You Didn't Know, where it's our first look at behind the scenes. And again, the original Marvel comic from the 80s is referenced quite a bit, especially the infamous issue number 21, Silent Interlude. That's where we completely start delving into Snake Eyes' backstory, and it was cutting edge in comics when it first came out because it is completely silent, befitting of our silent main character, and Larry Hama, the creator of the G.I. Joe comics. He is quite heavily interviewed in that featurette. I kind of should have done a reaction to that featurette as well because there's a lot more footage from the film in that featurette, and yeah, it really looks kind of like a Marvel knockoff, but since the comic was Marvel back in the day, I think that's a good way to go. Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins hitting theaters this July. I am going to be there. And there you go, my first trailer reaction video. A bit long and rambly, but hey, I did something.